Hello, everybody. So this is another of the conversations today with people who are participating in the roundtable discussion on Thursday. And with me right now, I'm delighted to welcome Carys Ifan, who is from Egin, which is based in Carmarthen and is a relatively new organisation which effectively works as a hub, but in a space which is also occupied by S4C. S4C is the Welsh language channel in the UK, and which has been around for many years now, but has morphed in recent years away from being part of our public broadcasting system into something which is able to work in a far more flexible way, and arguably in doing that has become more successful. But Carys, can I start off by asking you about that relationship with S4C and about the whole Welsh language agenda and why it's so important as far as Carmarthen, Carmarthenshire, and indeed the whole of the Swansea Bay area is concerned?
Yes, no problem at all. Thank you very much. So Egin was established back in 2018. We officially opened our doors here in 2018 as a creative and digital hub based in Carmarthen on the campus of the University of Wales Trinity St David's. And as you said, S4C, who are celebrating their 40th birthday this year, is the anchor tenant here in the hub. So they have a whole floor to themselves, and then there's another 12 companies based here at the centre as well. So how it came about was the chief executive of S4C, nearly probably a decade ago now, asked, why are we based in Cardiff? Why don't we move nearer to our audiences? And this then opened up a whole bidding process of different places throughout the country who wanted to invite S4C to have their HQ with them. And the University of Wales Trinity St David's put in a bid and led a bid for the Carmarthenshire area. And maybe it's something you wouldn't think about, but Carmarthen is the region of Wales where the highest number of Welsh speakers live. So I think that was very much part of the bid as we progressed and wanted to invite S4C here to West Wales. It was also, of course, that it was aligned with the university, so as a training hub and as somewhere to bring in new talent as well to the S4C. And also we weren't just offering an office space, it was about a hub, about surrounding and developing the creative sector in this area. And before Egin was established, there were people and there were companies working in this sector, but they were quite disparate across the region as well, and there wasn't something to unite them. So that's what Egin has allowed, is to bring people together, give a focus, which now people can understand that there is this sector in West Wales and it is developing as well, which is really exciting.
Can you just explain to people a little bit about the Swansea Bay area and its diversity? Because people may know where Swansea is, but I'm not sure they'll necessarily know where Carmarthen is or have any sense of kind of the extraordinary region that you're part of.
Yes, it's quite different to each other. It's a very varied region, to be honest. You've got Carmarthen, the Swansea area, of course, which is a city, a vibrant city in itself. And then Carmarthenshire then is a very large city and authority with a huge number of people living. But it really is, it goes from the sea right up to the hills, so it's a huge authority. And then you've got Pembrokeshire as well, and that's all on the coast, so that's further west again, and there's Port Talbot, so that's all part of the Swansea Bay City region then. So it is a very large area and very varied as well, with varied communities. And you can think of Carmarthenshire as well as a region where you've got everything encompassed in Wales in a way. You've got those rural communities, and you've also got those I'm trying to think of the word now of in terms of post-diwydiannol. I'm not thinking in English now. Post-industrial town.
Yeah.
Sorry, where they did have a very heavy industry, but now they're post-industrial. So you've got everything in a way that eclipses larger Wales here, based in Carmarthen as well, in Carmarthenshire. So it is quite different to each other, and different pockets of places are quite different each other as well. So it's a very large region with differences. But I think what's exciting as well is that there is a way now through the Swansea Bay City deal of us linking more together, working more united as well, which is really exciting. And then there was an event recently with all the projects that have been funded through that or greenlit through that so far, were presenting about the opportunities. And I think people were really excited about the opportunities that these different projects will bring to the region as well.
And my understanding is that Egin, in actual fact, was one of the first projects funded through the bid. And the bid funding comes from the UK government. It's something which is available to places across the UK, and Swansea very successfully put in the bid. The Swansea Bay area put in a successful bid for that funding.
Yes, they did. And yes, Egin was the first actually funded and built as well. And the others now are in the process. And they're quite different as well. Ours is to do with the creative industries. Others are to do with health and well-being. Others are to do with green energy. So they are quite different, the projects. Again, maybe reflecting how the different areas as well. So those green energy are to do more with the coastal path and Pembrokeshire docks. So it's really interesting to see those different projects developing as well across the region.
But very much about new economic hope as far as the region is concerned.
Yes, definitely about that, and about bringing jobs in and keeping local talent local as well, because what we are seeing more and more is people leaving the region as well. So I think it's about inviting people to work and live here in such a beautiful area, but also about people coming back from their universities and living locally as well.
And how readily do you feel that Carmarthenshire or Swansea has really adopted the creative economy agenda? I'm thinking about the county council, about the city council. I mean, I know from the work I've done that sometimes that politicians can be quite slow to pick up and appreciate the opportunities of this agenda. Was that the case there?
Do you know, I think Carmarthen Council have been completely supportive. They were supportive and backing and part of inviting SYC here as well. As part of the development, City Deal was part funded at Egin development, and then the County Council looked at the trunk road to make sure that then the transport links to here was working as well. So we worked alongside them very well on that project as well. I think it's about now looking at how do we make sure the SMEs and startups are funded, and how we look at Trinity St David's is dual sector as well, higher education and further education, and how we can work then with the county council to make sure that the opportunities are really highlighted and that people can develop their own companies in this region then.
So that does call for a very integrated approach within the government, with at local government level as well as at Welsh national level as well.
Yes, definitely. And I think we're looking at more at that network and how do we support a network in the region as well. Networks have been very, very successful. Creative Cardiff is one of them, and there's Creative Dundee and different places. And we've been a part of that creative network conversations as well. And we're currently having that with Welsh Government as well, with a new Creative Wales that has been established. So Creative Wales are very supportive of Creative Cardiff, but also then there's Creative North Wales that's been established, and we're looking to establish the Creative West Wales side of things to make sure that there's a network and that we're talking to each other and that people can work in partnership to develop the sector as well.
Can I shift the conversation slightly to talk then about Swansea, as has in the past put a bid in to become the UK City of Culture. It was unfortunately unsuccessful. Wrexham is now in the throes, which is a city to the north of Wales, on the border with England, has put a bid in the moment in the current round of bidding for that title for 2023, 4, 5. I'm not quite sure which year it is now off the top of my head. Do you think there are aspirations? Do you think that people locally see the benefit of progressing in that direction? Do you think that there is any interest in terms of looking at the Creative Cities agenda from UNESCO and what that might mean for you, particularly kind of as a home of the Welsh language broadcaster? Do you think those things are things which are of real, have potential to offer you?
Yes, I do. In a nutshell, I do, yes. And I think it's thoroughly exciting to think about being a part of something more international and global as well. And to put the spotlight here in West Wales as well is thoroughly exciting. I remember Mark Rees and Sybil putting that bid together for Swansea as well. And it does take a lot of effort and a lot of energy. But I think that we've got that in a new bounds now when we're thinking about we're coming back out of COVID and we really want to engage with people as well. And I think the first maybe a few years of Egin was about establishing us here, and also what is developing more and more in South Wales is the high-end drama as well. And I think what Carmarthen Council have been doing is really about making sure that they can see where they can film locally here. So I think it's now uniting together to make sure that we can develop on that. And there are quite a few different initiatives happening in Carmarthen itself the minute as well. We're working with Local Motion to see on our 10-year plan. And I think being allowed to dream and being ambitious as well is very much something we're looking at the minute, and would love to be part of an international conversation about that as well and learn from others.
That sounds like something which is going to be a very interesting part of the conversation on Thursday. Thank you very much for the time today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Brilliant. Diolch yn fawr.
Take care.